All right, Steve. Christopher has a question. He says, "What's a good way to overcome nervousness in preaching and teaching?"
You know, uh, just in general, the Bible talks about dying to yourself. Let me use a passage out of Matthew chapter 10, where Jesus is talking about being a disciple. This is what he says. He says, "He who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. He who does not take his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it." And what that's talking about is basically the cost of discipleship, and it's the idea of what I'm supposed to be doing is putting Christ before myself, and I'm supposed to be dying to myself. And in that context, it's talking about dying to ourselves and following Jesus and not putting anything in front of him. You see the same principle used all throughout the New Testament as far as dying to self in the sense of dealing with other people. And so I'm supposed to be a servant to others. If I want to be great in God's kingdom, I have to be the servant of all. And so I need to be dying to myself. And this is where I'm going to answer your question. The reason that you're nervous is because you're thinking about you. And I know that because that's the reason that I'm nervous. And so I've been preaching the gospel forever, and I've been teaching Bible studies for a very long time, all the way back in the early 80s is when I really started teaching Bible studies. And I've always had the issue of being nervous, and what I had to finally do was stop thinking about myself so much. And so that's the key to it. If you're teaching a Bible study, what you're there for is not for yourself, and not for, not so that you look good, and not so that that people can applaud you. And I have no doubt that that's not the reasons that you're doing these things, but that's not what you're there for. And so when I found out, when I was dealing with this issue of being embarrassed in front of people, I just basically went, okay, well, who is this about? Because yeah, I am embarrassed, and yeah, I don't like being in front of people, but that's all about me. That's not about them. And so what I had to do was I just had to start focusing on the fact that I'm here to share with people that I care about, and I want to put them above myself. That's how I get over the nervousness. I stop thinking about me, and I start thinking about the people that I'm sharing with. Here's another thing. I stop thinking about me, and I start thinking about the Lord. And so I'm not here to do what I want to do. I'm here to do what the Lord wants me to do. And so I may flub it up, and it hasn't been a perfect thing in the sense that, I start thinking in this way, and suddenly I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I can do anything. But again, if my focus is on others, including the Lord and including the people that I'm sharing with, it sure helps a whole lot with the whole nervousness thing, and it helps a whole lot with actually being bold, because the reason that most people are not bold in sharing the gospel or in sharing the word of God is because they're worried about the opinion of the people who they're talking to, in the sense that I want them to like me, and that is not what we're supposed to be doing. What I want to be doing when I'm sharing with people is I want to do what's right by them. I care about them more than I care about their opinion. And so I want to do what's right by people, and so I want to share the truth with them. And I want to do what's right by the Lord, and so I want to share what He would have me share, and do it in the way that He would have me do it, despite the fact that I may be getting mean looks, or people may get mad, or and usually that's not the case. That's not what usually happens. So that's how I do it. I just stop thinking about myself, and I start focusing on others, and then it really helps. So,
Would you say that over time it gets better with practice? And I'm going to combine that with, you've also, and this is one of the things that helped me, is that when you are focused on yourself, it's you doing the work, and you're worried about messing up and stuff, and it brings anxiety and fear and all those things you talk about. But what's supposed to be happening is God's supposed to be speaking through you.
right.
And in order for that to happen, you have to really get over everything but you and God.
Yeah. You know, anytime that I'm about to speak, I'm always nervous. I've always got nervous energy going on. And so anybody who sees me before a study, if they're really watching me, my leg will be bouncing up and down. And the reason is because I'm nervous. And I don't have the same kind of nervousness I had when I was first teaching, because I've been doing this for a long time. But being dependent on the Lord and being focused on others becomes second nature. And it's just where I go. And so even if I'm in a situation that's new to me and I'm kind of radically nervous, what people have noticed, and usually this comes out, the times I'm the most nervous is at a funeral or a wedding. Those are things you don't want to mess up. And so that's when I'm nervous, and especially at a wedding, because you're dealing with a lady who's wanted to be, she's probably been thinking about her wedding since she was 5 or something. So don't be the guy who messes it up. And so generally speaking, people will say to me when they see that I'm nervous, that I start out rough, and then all of a sudden, they go, I could tell when the Lord kicked in there. And it's because I stopped thinking about myself and I start thinking about what I'm there for and who I'm there for. And it helps. But yeah, experience helps in the sense that, again, it becomes second nature for me to just move into that mode. I'm not going to be thinking about me now. What I'm going to be thinking about is what the Lord wants me to do here. So.
All right, Christopher, hope that helps, man. Appreciate you posting.
And some people say, think of the people in front of you sitting in their underwear. So I've never done that.
I don't know that would work for me too much.